Hi everyone, Souha here, your Way of Life canine rearing and relationship coach. This month we've been talking about ideas that no longer serve us. In this time of going back to school and welcoming new learning, we are here to encourage you to unlearn certain things. These ideas that have run their course and that are no longer serving us. So many of us are struggling with behavior issues, struggling to have satisfying and fulfilling bonds with our dogs, struggling to raise dogs that are, as we like to call in the Way of Life method, sound, strong, and spirited, which is just another way of saying happy dogs, well-adjusted dogs, balanced dogs, connected dogs. So why are so many of us struggling? According to statistics, most of us are actually struggling with our dog's behavior. It is not a problem for a few of us. It is a problem for many, if not most of us. So at Way of Life Dog Training, we really believe that one reason for this unfortunate state of affairs is that we are still holding on to ideas that, in our opinion, have run their course, ideas that we need to let go of. And in the last video that we posted on our channel and that we shared with our subscribers, we talked about 5 deadly dog training ideas that really need to go. And in this video, I invite you to reconsider one of them with me, unlearn the concept of socialization. Everybody tells us we need to be socializing our dogs. Veterinarians, trainers, breeders all emphasize the importance of socializing our dogs. But does anyone actually take a moment to tell us what socialization is? What it means? Does anybody take a moment to tell us about a good time to be socializing, about how much is too much or how little is too little socialization? So in this video, I want to talk to you about 3 easy to avoid socialization mistakes, okay? Beginning with the first one. The first socialization mistake is what we do with our puppies. So we have been told, again, by the dog training industry and many actors in the dog training world and culture, that puppies experience a critical socialization period from the age of 5 weeks to 14 weeks. Some will tell you even 18 weeks. And that it is our job during the critical socialization period to socialize our dogs with as many people, animals as possible, expose them to as many different things as possible, as many experiences as possible. In other words, we're being asked to slam socialization into our puppies, not realizing that that could be completely overwhelming to puppies, and that the reality is that it's not necessary to do that. What is more important to do during that critical socialization period is show our puppies that we are fun and we are safe and we are leaders and guides. That is the most important thing to instill in our puppies during that critical socialization period, is handling them with structure and safety, making their behavior successful so that they build up confidence. And then I assure you, exposure is so easy to do when you have a dog that is bonded to you and trusts you. The most important thing for a puppy is not to be around people with beards or hats. Really, the most important thing for a puppy is to know that should they come across somebody with a beard or a hat, that you are a safe person who will keep them safe in these situations, whatever they might be. And so really, the most important thing to do during this critical socialization period is to build a foundation of a relationship with our dogs. And exposure becomes much easier to do. But we tend to emphasize exposure at the expense of relationship. And that's why many people with puppies are struggling. The second mistake that we make with our dogs is that we place socialization ahead of a relationship. So imagine I just adopted a dog from a rescue or shelter, or I just have a dog that got rehomed to my home. And instead of spending some time building that one-on-one relationship, that one-on-one rapport with my dog, the first thing we all do, expose the dog, take the dog places, introduce the dogs to people. Introduce them to other dogs. Have them with our kids. Have them with the other dogs and cats and bunnies in the home. Take them to dog training class. Take them to puppy play groups and dog, breed play groups and dog parks and daycares and so on. In other words, slamming them with socialization. Just as I said with puppies, we need a foundation of relationship with our dogs before we can be a source of safety when exposing them to the world. And that, in the Way of Life method, is called, my friends, primordial socialization. So every time that I handle my dogs, take them places, do things with them, train them, groom them, feed them, take them to the vet, all these are socialization. They're one-on-one, primordial socialization. And the more time I spend building that one-on-one relationship with my dog, or what I call primordial, the more time I spend building that foundation of relationship, the easier it becomes to introduce my dog to the world. That is not difficult to do, okay? Mistake number 3 with socialization that is easy to avoid is thinking that socialization is the cure for reactivity, fear, or any other behavior issue that we are dealing with. Just a few moments ago, I was on a call with a new client who's talking about her bully puppy, about 4 months old, who's already displaying fear aggression. He seems to have a wonderful temperament and is getting along greatly with the members of the family, including their kids, but has demonstrated fear aggression towards the vet. And here in our conversation, she told me that she's been trying to expose him to as many things as possible, as many animals as possible, as many people as possible. And I had to chuckle because I was just about scheduled to record this video. And I told her that. I said, I was just about ready to record this video on how we use socialization as a way to heal dogs of behavior issues. But the reality is that you need to spend more time keeping things simple, keeping things successful, keeping things, at a minimum of socialization, just with the family, just with the members of the family, only certain environments, not introducing the dog to, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, thinking that that's going to make the dog less fearful. In fact, we really believe, we don't just believe, we know at Way of Life Dog Training that many of these behavior issues that people are struggling with, whether they are fear, whether they are anxiety, aggression, is the dog's way, are the dog's way of telling us that something's off, something's wrong. They're having a hard time. But because we think that fear or aggression or reactivity in dogs is due to the fact that they were not socialized properly, then now we think that socialization is the cure, therefore. That is not what we believe. We believe that keeping things simple, dialing down the socialization, focusing on primordial socialization, keeping things simple, rebuilding the dog's confidence, rebuilding their sense of safety. That is what we need to do whenever we are dealing with behavior issues of any kind. It doesn't matter if they manifest as fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or any of the above. They all have the same solution. Going back to foundations, rebuilding a foundation of relationship through primordial socialization, keeping things safe through structure, keeping things successful by keeping things simple. That is one of the key things that we do with our clients, is that we help them go back to a place of simplicity and work from there, as opposed to overwhelming dogs and puppies with socialization experiences that they are not ready for. So I hope this all makes sense to you. These are easy to avoid socialization mistakes. Number one, the mistake of thinking that we need to slam socialization into our puppies. Mistake number 2 is socializing our adult dogs or even puppies without a foundation of relationship. And idea number 3 is thinking that added socialization and exposure is what will heal dogs of behavior issues. That is not the case. The opposite is true. Dialing down socialization, keeping things simple, structured, and successful is what will rebuild the dog's confidence. Why? Because that is how we rebuild their confidence in us and our relationship. I hope this all makes sense. Right, honey? Yeah. car.